This holiday, Verizon is giving you incredible gifts and savings you'll enjoy all year. When you switch, you'll get 4 new iPhone 17 Pros. No trade-in needed. That's right. Get 4 lines for just $25 a line and the amazing iPhone 17 Pro for everyone. Save big this holiday. Visit Verizon today. $20 monthly promo credits applied to account over 35 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
A lot of supplement brands chase trends, but if you're serious about your health, we know research-backed science is what actually moves the needle. Momentous works with the best brains in human science to create every formula, and every batch is made of pure ingredients, tested for safety, and does not contain fillers. So you get the best long-term results possible. Creatine isn't just for muscle gains, it's essential daily fuel for your brain, body, and long-term performance. Momentous CreaPure Creatine is backed by leading performance experts like Dr. Andrew Huberman and Dr. Stacy Sims. Sourced exclusively in Germany, CreaPure sets the gold standard for creatine, delivering the purest form, creatine monohydrate, that's rigorously washed and never cut with fillers. With over 2,000 5-star reviews, over 112,000 customers have seen the results firsthand. With Momentous, the fundamentals are done right. Right now, Momentous is offering our listeners up to 35% off your first subscription order with promo code ACAST. Go to livemomentous.com and use promo code ACAST for up to 35% off your first subscription order. That's livemomentous.com, promo code ACAST.
Hi, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. You ever stand in front of your closet and just say, I have nothing to wear, while you're literally surrounded by clothes? Because same. So I started listing pieces I'm over on Depop. And honestly, it's been amazing. You can sell what you're done with, and someone out there will love it. And the best part about it is there's no seller fee. So the money you make actually stays in your pocket, which feels very chic. It's also insanely easy. I listed something while watching TV, and it sold before the episode even ended. So download the Depop app and list your first item today, because your old outfit could be someone else's new favorite. Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees, boosting fees still apply. For more info, visit Depop.com.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. One of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. Mm-hmm. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hi, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. You ever stand in front of your closet and just say, I have nothing to wear, while you're literally surrounded by clothes? Because same. So I started listing pieces I'm over on Depop. And honestly, it's been amazing. You can sell what you're done with, and someone out there will love it. And the best part about it is there's no seller fee. So the money you make actually stays in your pocket, which feels very chic. It's also insanely easy. I listed something while watching TV, and it sold before the episode even ended. So download the Depop app and list your first item today, because your old outfit could be someone else's new favorite. Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees, boosting fees still apply. For more info, visit Depop.com.
Hello, I'm Sarah and welcome to the Whispering Woods Extra. I've got 3 stories to share with you today, and they're all kind of related to the main Myling episode because they are about babies crying. But not, I say that sounded a bit strange. They are about the sound of babies crying, not about babies crying. I'll get straight into it. Are you ready for the first story? Marcel Lima lived in a crowded apartment block surrounded by other buildings. They first noticed the crying late in 2017, when they'd step out onto their balcony around midnight for some air. Almost every night, the shrill wail of a newborn would cut through the silence. At first they brushed it off. In a city, a crying baby isn't unusual. Perhaps a colicky infant in one of the nearby apartments. The cry was loud and echoing between the concrete buildings, but it never seemed to come from the same place twice. For 2 years, this mysterious routine continued. By summer 2019, Marcelima grew confused. How many babies could there be in this neighbourhood? The cries always sounded identical, the plaintive, airless wah of a newborn. Yet no actual child was ever seen. There was an unnatural consistency to the sound, always at odd hours past midnight. Still, nothing overly frightening happened until one humid night in 2020. Just past 2 a.m. on that night, Marcelima's blood ran cold at the sound of a woman screaming outside in the street. Rushing to the balcony, they spotted nothing, only distant male laughter and a scuffle in the dark. Marcelima's heart pounded as the scream cut off suddenly. Had there been an attack? They waited tense and alert, ready to call the police if the screams continued. An uncanny silence fell. Moments later, from somewhere beyond the building, a baby began crying, loud, urgent, and desperate. The timing was bizarre. As Marcelima scanned the dimly lit street below, they realised the cry was not stationary. It moved swiftly through the night, as if the infant were crawling or being carried at unnatural speed. They heard it go around the perimeter of the building, then dart to another. Marcelima leaned over the railing, straining to see any sign of a child. There was none. The crying faded into the distance after a minute, leaving the night dead still. From that moment on, Marcelima knew something was very wrong with these nightly cries. They started paying close attention each time the wailing began. On one occasion, a friend was visiting past midnight when the familiar wah wah echoed outside. The friend frowned. It was nearly 12 a.m. Far too late for an infant to be outdoors alone. Both stepped onto the balcony, peering into the gloom. To their astonishment, the crying sound drifted upward. It rose from street level to the rooftops of a neighbouring block, gliding from one building to the next. The baby's sobbing seemed to fly over their heads, as if carried on the wind or uttered by something moving above the roofline. Marcelima and their friend could only exchange wide-eyed looks as the disembodied cries circulated through the night air. There were no stray animals around that could mimic a baby so perfectly. Only a few feral cats in the area, and this was nothing like a cat yowl. The sound had the wet, choking sob of an infant, occasionally hitching as if the baby were gasping for breath between screams. No matter how long it cried, it never revealed an animal's tone or took a breath longer than a human baby would. It was relentless, often lasting 10 minutes or more without stopping. Marcelima began to wonder if these were residual hauntings. Some echo of the tragic event imprinted on the neighbourhood. The building itself had a haunted history, and the surrounding block had seen its share of suffering. Perhaps decades ago, a child had died here, and now its restless spirit wandered above the streets, eternally crying for help. Marcelima knew the local wildlife, no foxes, no peacocks, and certainly no bobcats prowled this urban zone. And cats in heat, while loud, eventually break into a feline yowl. This cry never did. On the nights it occurred, Marcelima sometimes tried to follow the sound visually, leaning out and tracking it as it moved. One night it circled the whole block, wailing in the alleyways and courtyards, then whooshed up to the rooftops again. Despite the eerie feeling it gave them, Marcelima couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy. The cry sounded so genuine in its distress, yet chasing it was impossible and potentially dangerous. To this day, the flying infant wail remains unexplained. Was it the replay of a tragedy looping in time, a residual ghost of a baby lost long ago, or something inhuman mimicking a child to lure Marcelima out? I really don't like it, the way it sounded like this baby crying was moving around all over the place. Because if you can't narrow down where something's coming from, you know it's coming from absolutely everywhere. And if it's absolutely everywhere, you've no chance of fighting it. Are you ready for the second story? Deep in the woods of rural Ohio lies the abandoned Moonville Tunnel, a relic of old railroad days tucked in a now deserted forest. 10 years ago, a small group of paranormal investigators, including a man named Daniel, made the long hike to this infamous spot. It was a little after 3 a.m. when they finally parked at the head of the narrow trail. The summer air was thick with humidity as they set off by foot. A creek known as Raccoon Creek ran alongside the path, babbling softly in the darkness. The night was moonless and oppressively dark beneath the trees. Almost immediately, the team felt a heavy sense of dread pressing in. Sometimes you feel it out here, Daniel thought, and sometimes you don't. Tonight the presence of something unseen was unmistakable. A weighty tension that made their skin crawl before they even saw or heard anything. About 50 yards down the lonely trail, the group was stopped in their tracks by a sound no one expected. From somewhere among the thickets of trees to their left came a very distinct sound of a baby crying. The cry was high-pitched, frantic, and human, like an infant wailing in fear or pain. Daniel felt the hairs on his arms stand up. The cry couldn't have been more than a couple of 100 feet away, in the otherwise silent woods. One of his companions sucked in a breath. "What the hell? That's a baby," she whispered, eyes wide. The other friend immediately panicked, suggesting they turn back at once. None of them had expected this. Ghostly lights or apparitions, maybe, but not a wandering baby at 3 a.m. in the wilderness. Daniel held up a hand to calm them, masking his own jitters. "It's just an animal," he lied reassuringly. In truth, he had no idea what could mimic a baby so perfectly out here. In the moment, he blurted the first thing that came to mind. Probably just a beaver by the creek. They can make noises like that. The explanation was tenuous. Do beavers cry like babies? But saying it out loud gave them a bit of courage. Inside, Daniel felt far from confident. In all his hikes, he'd never heard a beaver or any other local animal make a sound so uncannily like an infant in distress. Swallowing their unease, the team pressed on toward the tunnel, albeit with shaky legs. The crying in the woods faded away after a minute, leaving only the chorus of crickets and the distant gurgle of the creek. The path narrowed as they neared the looming mouth of Moonville Tunnel. A brick archway swallowed in darkness, graffiti scrawled across its face. They clicked on their flashlights and stepped inside the tunnel's yawning black interior. That's when the rocks began to fly. Without warning, stones came whizzing out of the darkness, hurtling past their heads. The first one clattered against the tunnel wall. Another skittered on the ground near their feet. "Who's there?" one friend shouted. Daniel swung his flashlight beam wildly around. The tunnel was a straight shot. If it were pranksters throwing rocks, they'd have to be at one end or the other. But when he flashed the light toward the far end of the tunnel, it was empty. Just the vacant opening looking out to more woods. He spun back to check the entrance behind them. No one. Yet small rocks continued to zip through the air from different angles. The group huddled, hearts hammering, realizing this was no ordinary haunting. The oppressive feeling was all around them now, as if whatever force they had sensed earlier was making itself known. A pebble ricocheted off the tunnel wall and nearly struck one investigator's shoulder. That was enough. "We need to go now," Daniel said through clenched teeth. Keeping their heads low, they retreated toward the way they came, half expecting a rock to hit the back of their skulls at any moment. But the bombardment stopped as abruptly as it began. They emerged from the tunnel, breathless and shaken, and in the heavy silence, they realized the night had grown utterly still. Even the crickets had gone quiet. They hurried back along the creek path toward their car, every crunch of leaves underfoot making them flinch. In the back of his mind, Daniel couldn't shake the image of that crying baby sound. What in God's name was that? Over the following days, he scoured resources on wildlife, trying to find any animal call that matched what they heard. Bobcats and fisher cats were known to scream like a baby in the night, but usually in short, blood-curdling yowls, not the continuous, breathless sobbing they experienced. One commenter from North Carolina told him that a bobcat, wandering near homes, had made that creepy cry and given them a sleepless night. It was possible a bobcat's wail had unnerved them, but bobcats can't throw rocks. And what about inside the tunnel? Some of the locals half-jokingly proposed other culprits. Maybe it was a Sasquatch mother trying to scare you off, one said. They're the only thing that could cry like a baby and chuck rocks at you. Others thought it must have been paranormal, a spirit or ghost reliving a tragedy on loop. The team themselves were divided, but all agreed on one thing. That night at Moonville Tunnel, they encountered something highly unusual. Bit of a cross, isn't it? So maybe it was a baby Bigfoot. I couldn't think what he's called then. It's because I was thinking of Toby and his Samsquatch, whatever he calls it. I don't know if the rock throwing is related to Bigfoot. I wondered if it was more about trying to catch attention and something was trying to lure them into the tunnel and something bad was going to happen. Are you ready for the third and final story? The 3 a.m. wailer in the backyard. It was a little after 3 in the morning when Katie, a resident of a quiet suburban neighbourhood, found themselves unable to sleep and lounging on the living room couch. The house was still, their family sound asleep upstairs. They were scrolling idly on their phone when something made them sit bolt upright. A shrill, desperate cry coming from outside. The unmistakable sound of a baby screaming in the night. At first, Katie wasn't sure if it had been imagination. She muted the TV, holding her breath. A second later, it came again. A hysterical infant's cry, drifting in through the open window from the backyard. The sound was faint, but clear enough to raise goosebumps. They checked the clock. 3:15 a.m. What is a baby doing out there at this hour? The yard backed onto a strip of wooded lots and an empty field. There were no houses immediately beyond their fence. Hot thudding, she moved to the kitchen window that overlooked the backyard. It was pitch dark outside, save for a weak yellow halo from the lone street lamp out front. She cracked the back door open, and the crying became a tad louder. It sounded like an infant in mortal agony, a continuous piercing wail with hardly any breath pauses. Katie's mind raced. Could a baby have been abandoned outside? Grabbing a flashlight, she stepped onto the back porch. The night air was hot and still, heavy with summer. Wah! Wah! The cry jaggedly rose and fell. It was coming from near the tree line at the far end of the yard, or just beyond, in the field. Hello, she called out softly, wary of waking the neighbours, but unable to hide the tremor in her voice. Is someone there? Do you need help? In response, the sobbing seemed to move. A rustle in the bushes to the right, then a sudden stop. The crying cut off abruptly, plunging the yard into silence once more. The only sound was Katie's own breathing, and somewhere a few houses down, a dog began to bark. She took a few cautious steps off the porch. The beam of the flashlight danced over the lawn, illuminating the dew on the grass. At the edge of the yard stood a thicket of shrub and an old oak tree. Nothing moved, no sounds. The dog down the street had gone oddly quiet too. For a moment, Katie wondered if they had hallucinated the whole thing. It was late after all, and they were tired. But the knot of fear in her gut told her this was real. Suddenly the cry erupted directly from the woods ahead, louder than before. The flashlight caught a glimpse of branches shaking, about 20 yards in. The wailing was ear-splitting now, an infant's shriek that grated on Katie's nerves. It did sound inhumanly intense, almost as if blasted from a speaker. But there was a quavering organic quality to it that made Katie's skin crawl. Summoning up the courage, she advanced a few more paces. The night was so dark out here, the flashlight's narrow cone was the only guide. It crossed over the gnarled trunk of the oak, the tangled brush, and for just an instant, 2 pinpoints of light glinted back from the undergrowth. Eyes. She froze, the reflective red-orange shine of eyes low to the ground, caught the light and vanished an instant later. The crying abruptly stopped again. In the thick silence, Katie felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Those were not the eyes of a baby. Some animal was lurking just beyond the fence, something watching them. She slowly backed up toward the house, heart hammering. She'd heard local tales of coyotes and even rumours of a mountain lion in the area. Could a predator be mimicking a baby's cry to draw people out? It seemed a bit far-fetched, yet not unprecedented. Nature has its tricks. Before she could decide what to do, a new sound sliced through the quiet, a drawn-out wail shifting in tone. It started like a woman's weeping and then morphed into the frantic cry of a baby. The transformation was terrifying. It was as if something in the woods was deliberately changing its cry, seeing which sound might lure the listener closer. The wail came from a bit further to the left now and higher off the ground, perched in the crook of a tree. For a split second, Katie thought she saw a pale shape among the leaves. Every instinct screamed to get back inside. She stumbled backward onto the porch and slammed the door, twisting the lock with trembling fingers. Whatever lurked out there continued its chorus for a minute longer, then faded away into the night. Huddled inside, Katie pressed her ear to the door. In the distance, just before the crying stopped, she swore she heard a faint guttural cackling or laughter. Nothing like a baby at all. Come morning, she cautiously surveyed the yard. There were no signs of any intruder, human or animal. Everything appeared normal, yet she knew what she heard was beyond normal. Neighbours who were asked had heard nothing, except one older man a street over. He confided that on some nights he too had heard what he thought was a baby, out by the empty field, and he never could find a source. Mark my words, the old man said. Don't go investigating those cries. It ain't no lost child. Something else is out there.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hi, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. You ever stand in front of your closet and just say, I have nothing to wear, while you're literally surrounded by clothes? Because same. So I started listing pieces I'm over on Depop. And honestly, it's been amazing. You can sell what you're done with, and someone out there will love it. And the best part about it is there's no seller fee. So the money you make actually stays in your pocket, which feels very chic. It's also insanely easy. I listed something while watching TV, and it sold before the episode even ended. So download the Depop app and list your first item today, because your old outfit could be someone else's new favorite. Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees, boosting fees still apply. For more info, visit Depop.com.
When I hear a story about a creature by the tree line, it does freak me out. There's something to it. Something that's kind of just coming out by the tree line and then going back in. There's something to that really does frighten me, because I imagine these little cabins in the middle of nowhere. There's obviously a bit of grass around, but then you've got the tree line. And it's stay beyond the tree line. Because if you're coming into my zone, you want me to see you. You're making a point. especially if you've got glowing eyes. Terrifying. Well, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you again on the weekend if you're tuning in to After Dark. Take care, everyone.
Hi, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. You ever stand in front of your closet and just say, I have nothing to wear, while you're literally surrounded by clothes? Because same. So I started listing pieces I'm over on Depop, and honestly, it's been amazing. You can sell what you're done with, and someone out there will love it. And the best part about it is there's no seller fee, so the money you make actually stays in your pocket, which feels very chic. It's also insanely easy. I listed something while watching TV, and it sold before the episode even ended. So download the Depop app and list your first item today, because your old outfit could be someone else's new favorite. Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees, boosting fees still apply. For more info, visit Depop.com. Hi, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. You ever stand in front of your closet and just say, I have nothing to wear, while you're literally surrounded by clothes? Because same. So I started listing pieces I'm over on Depop, and honestly, it's been amazing. You can sell what you're done with, and someone out there will love it. And the best part about it is there's no seller fee, so the money you make actually stays in your pocket, which feels very chic. It's also insanely easy. I listed something while watching TV, and it sold before the episode even ended. So download the Depop app and list your first item today, because your old outfit could be someone else's new favorite. Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees, boosting fees still apply. For more info, visit Depop.com. Hannah Burner, are those the cozy Tommy John pajamas you're buying?
Paige DeSorbo, they are Tommy John. And yes, I'm stocking up because they make the best holiday gifts.
So generous.
Well, I'm a generous girly, especially when it comes to me. So I'm grabbing the softest sleepwear, comfiest underwear, and best fitting loungewear.
So nothing for your bestie.
Of course, I'm getting my dad, Tommy John. Oh, and you, of course.
It's giving holiday gifting made easy.
Exactly. Cozy, comfy, everyone's happy. Gift everyone on your list, including yourself, with Tommy John and get 40% off site-wide right now at TommyJohn.com/comfort.
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.